We have something really exciting to talk about now. Tonight, even though, as Jill said, it's going to be difficult to see the total lunar eclipse, hopefully you can still keep an eye out for it.
That's right, Giuliana. And this morning we are pleased to be joined by a very special guest who is from the board of directors at Dudley Observatory. Easy for me to say this morning. So excited about this lunar eclipse, as well as an earth sciences teacher from Coxsackie Athens Central School. This morning we have Vicki Space joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is probably a big day for someone in your line of work to talk about these things, and I'm sure your students are probably all ramped up about it.
Yes, we've been anticipating this for a while.
Yeah.
And it's the one thing that's very disappointing about anticipating this and then having the cloud cover. It's almost a guaranteed day to be cloudy when there's a big astronomical event happening.
And it always seems to happen that way, whether it's a lunar or a solar eclipse. And of course, folks are going to have to stay up late to potentially see the lunar eclipse tonight if conditions were perfect. Can you explain kind of what's going to happen later on tonight?
Sure. I brought some props.
Fantastic.
So a lunar eclipse occurs during a full moon, but only when the conditions are such that the sun, which I'll just pretend is me.
You're playing the sun today, okay.
I'm playing the sun, and the earth being its basketball, and the moon being this tennis ball. So a lunar eclipse will happen when the sun, the earth, and the moon align perfectly, when the moon passes through the earth's shadow. So that is how a lunar eclipse occurs.
So talk to us about this other really impressive prop that you've brought.
So this is a 6-inch Dobsonian telescope that I received through the Rising Star internship with the Dudley Observatory. They taught me how to use the telescope, and then I in turn will go out to public events and get people interested in astronomy. And so that is where this came from.
And what is Dudley doing tonight? Are there any special events going on, since clouds maybe aren't necessarily going to be on our side?
Tonight there is no events in particular that I'm aware of. We recently partnered with Siena, and they have their graduation ceremony today.
Yeah.
So there's a conflict there.
Yeah.
But we do hope that in 2023 we're going to resume in-person events. We're very excited about that. Since we partnered with Siena, we've hired an astronomer who will be starting at the beginning of 2023. We'll be making a formal announcement on that on our Facebook page, so keep an eye out for that.
It's really great to talk about local connections to events like this, and the scientists and the experts behind it that we have right here in the Capital Region.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
yeah, we're also getting excited for a total solar eclipse here in about, what, 2 years as well?
2024,
yeah,
yes.
Right. So it's a little bit of a different thing, but all of these big events happening hopefully very soon we can see.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us and telling us about this. What time do things kick off tonight?
So the event will start around 9:30 p.m. You won't notice much of a difference for about the first hour. The moon is going to be in what's called the Earth's penumbra, or partial darkness. You'll notice the moon may be a little bit dimmer for about an hour or so. Around 10:30, the moon will pass through the Earth's umbra. And so then you'll see the curved surface of the Earth and the shadow on the moon. So if anyone knows of any flat earthers, you can debunk their beliefs here. Around 11:30 is when the moon will enter the Earth's umbra, and it will be in a what's called totality or complete darkness. Some of the light from our atmosphere will refract and make it to the moon. So we do expect that it will turn a reddish orange color, hence where we get the term blood moon. Yeah. Peak eclipse happens around 12:11 a.m. and then it will be out of totality around 1 o'clock, back to partial eclipse for about another hour, and then another hour of the penumbral eclipse. So the whole thing will take place in about 5 hours or so, hoping for some breaks in the cloud cover in between.
And it would be nice if those breaks came, towards the end where we can see it in totality.
Yeah, in those 84 minutes of totality, right?
Absolutely. And I do want to say that the information that I got as far as the timing came from the Albany area amateur astronomers, their Skyline Watch, which they come out with every couple of days, and we post on the Dudley Observatory page. Anything that's happening in the night sky, they are constantly putting that information out there.
And
Good to know.
there's a lot of, people want to watch this obviously safely. We talk about obviously safe viewing during a solar eclipse. Anything that people need to keep in mind tonight?
For a lunar eclipse, there's no special equipment. You don't need one of these. It's nice to have binoculars or a telescope. You just have to find the moon.
Yeah.
So no need to worry about special glasses to protect your eyes.
And I know that people recommend maybe staying away from tall buildings or things with lights on them because that can sort of obstruct your view.
Yeah, if you can get to a place that has minimal light pollution, it'll only enhance your experience, which would be great.
Great.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for the viewing tips. We're of course looking forward to hopefully seeing it with some breaks in the clouds later on tonight. Vicki Space, thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you for having me.